my friends. It's 2 o'clock and time for the pastor's chat. I'm sorry, for those of you who are regular watchers, I did not turn on the video yesterday. We had one of those days where we're trying to make the final switch over on our technology program, and things got delayed so that the system wasn't up and running at 2 o'clock yesterday. Anyway, it's running now. It's working fine. It's still in a kind of interim stage, but you don't need to know all those details. It's sort of the answer to the question of how am I, but sometimes I think that's not nearly as important. So, how are you? This is a pastor's chat. Try to imagine that, you just walk in and you sit down and knock on the door and say, "Pastor, do you have a minute?" And I like to always think that I would be in a situation to be able to say, "Of course." So here we are, of course. Got some time? What would you talk about? So I've been doing these chats for over a year now. And I have to say, I've been really happy that when 2 o'clock rolls around, I'm never at a loss for inspiration for what to chat about. And that's something. I mean, I know I like to talk, but it just always seemed like when the time was right, there was something to talk about. And I think that's also been true for experiences when people do come to talk to me. I mean, maybe people come in sometimes to my office and they have a problem or something they want to get off their chest. They like to tell it to somebody that they know won't repeat it or carry off with false impressions about them. But sometimes people come in to talk and they don't know the answer to the question, "Why are you here?" Or "How are you?" I don't know. And that happens to me too. I take stock of where I'm at in my life. What are the things that are going on? I know the answer to some of the questions. If you were the questioner to say, "Well, what's happening?" I've been sort of excited about resetting my mind around that the year of pandemic-altered life could now begin to recede, and we could pick up the things from the way we used to do things and then have the insights and strengths that we've gained from the pandemic and then go forward better than we were before. The problem I'm having with holding on to that idea today is I'm more aware than ever. I have 3 people in my life, in my world, who tested positive for COVID. And that really hasn't happened in that kind of a grouping yet. And 2 of them are colleagues, people who work in the preschool. And that's big. I mean, the circumstance of timing has worked out that the children were not exposed in a way that would lead to a complete shutdown of the school. But it's still amazing to me that now, at a time when everyone's going back out to eat and we're doing things that we haven't done before, and what is happening? So that's one thing about how I am today. I also have to say, in the past couple of years, I've had some experiences that have happened in our lifetime. Like, these are things that you might look up, in a history book and say, "Well, that was when that happened." I've had some things that have rocked me in a negative way that I'm not happy to have seen with my eyes. Some of them, if you've heard me preach, I really, I've had a very, very difficult time as a human being living in New Jersey, thinking about and trying to take in the reality of what happens on the southern border of the United States, where there are people who are running for their lives, who are running from terrible, terrible conditions that do actually exist in the world, and they come to the U.S. border looking for help, and they don't abide by the rules for how to get there, and then all the things that happen to them, and some happen to them because whatever. It's been something that I just am troubled about. I'm troubled about the reality of what's happening. And I'm also increasingly troubled by the expanding awareness in my life of how difficult it is to thrive in the society of America if you are black or brown or Asian. And I can't deny it. I can't say, well, these people have a privileged life because they get quotas, and I just don't buy it. I'm really waking up to the fact that it's not the way I wanted it to be. It's not the way I hoped it was, and I need to wake up to that. So there have been those two big things, and then I'm not even going to tell you some of the other things that have come along the way. And I've just said, well, it doesn't make me proud to be alive in this time period, because sometimes I feel helpless to really do changes or make changes. I do what I do. I preach. I try to encourage a community of grace and welcome and genuine love and care for our fellow human beings as an outgrowth of our faith in Jesus Christ. And I feel sometimes like we are battling a tidal wave of hostile interpretation of Christianity. And I want to take that fight. I want to stand up and say, that's not what Christianity is. So that's been a struggle. Yesterday, I had a great moment. I'm grateful for the results of the verdict in the trial for Derek Chauvin. I'm grateful because I watched as much of the trial as I could, trying to pretend that I was a juror. I listened to the arguments of both sides and really believed that if justice was going to prevail, we were going to have the courage to convict a police officer of an attempted murder. And that's radical. That's radical. But I'm grateful. I was relieved yesterday. So much of the story of Easter in the telling of it focuses, yes, on the brokenness and the confusion that exists in human existence. And it's focused on the cross, on the death of Jesus on the cross. I'm aware that the storm that they've been talking about is moving in. The wind is beginning to blow ferociously, and I'm aware that probably the power is probably going to go off. So if all of a sudden I disappear, you'll know that's what happened. I knew it was going to be ferocious and fast because cold air is coming, and the warm air from yesterday and this morning are still sitting here. So, wow. I'm sorry, I'm distracted from what I wanted to talk about. I think what I'm going to do is, because part of what coming to a pastor's chat is saying, how are you, and trying to be honest with integrity, I think I'm going to end my conversation. I feel like there's things I need to go and attend to because the wind just appears to be a whole lot stronger than I expected it to be. So God bless you, my friends. I hope you're safe. And I hope you stay safe and the trees stay standing and all the rest of that. But for right now, I'm going to take a time out. I'm going to say God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Thank you.